it's a perfect segue. I know you're very excited. I think excitement is an understatement for today. Okay, because I've been here in Malaysia for I think 16 years and with Taylor's 12 years. But I haven't had the privilege to invite our guest speaker for today. So actually for this is our ADP lecture series 10. So this is the 10 semesters that we have been inviting, of course, the pioneers and the advocates of Malaysian architecture. And today we are very, very privileged to have another brilliant Malaysian architect. I think a lot of, when we go for tutors, a lot of them are using your projects as their precedent study. So I think it's good to know now. I think they will be seeing you and probably they might be interviewing you later and asking questions to get to know your philosophy and what keeps you going for the past 40 years, is it? 40 years, okay. I'll just make a quick introduction to our distinguished guest speaker. So he will be our first guest speaker for this semester, September 2025. Again, it is my great pleasure to introduce our distinguished guest speaker today, Mr. Seksan, one of Malaysia's most celebrated landscape architects, known for his ability to use nature as his canvas. Seksan, as popular to many, creates breathtaking landscape that blur the boundaries between architecture and natural environment. A graduate from Lincoln University in New Zealand, where he earned his degree in civil engineering. He began his career in Mofa Miskel in Christchurch before moving to Belcolis International in Singapore. Eventually, he returned to Malaysia to establish his own practice, leading a team of dedicated young architects to create sustainable and meaningful spaces. His notable works include PJ Treat Center, Block 10 Rooftop, and the acclaimed Sekapin Retreats. Passionate about reconnecting people with nature, Seksan continues to inspire through his innovative, community-driven, and environmentally conscious design. Again, please give a round of applause and a warm welcome to our distinguished guest speaker.
Thank you folks for inviting me here, especially my friend Mani. Mani, who I've known about for 30 years. I do some other lectures here, I've tried, have invited me before, but I've declined speaking here because I don't like speaking. I think architecture is for doing, not for talking. And I'm actually a very nice guy. It's not that I'm arrogant that I didn't want to speak, but I was trying to just do things rather than speak. Yeah. But Mani was very persistent. So today, thank you, Mani. I got a saying now. I got a very popular saying now that I can say to other people that I will only do things for Mani.
Bro, I'm eternally grateful.
Yeah, okay. Just for some. Okay, I want to know who is in the audience. Are you guys all architectural students?
Yes.
Architectural students?
Yeah, all of them.
Graduating.
All of them, okay. So I can go a bit more technical in the presentation. Okay. I usually have a long version and I have a short version of this presentation. I think you all prefer the short version, right?
It's not the length.
It's not the length?
Yeah.
Then I'll do the long one then.
It's the
Okay.
quality of the
Just a very quick one about myself. I was trained as a civil engineer in New Zealand. I spent 12 years in New Zealand. I practiced my entire lifetime, of about 40 years, as a landscape architect. I did my postgraduate in New Zealand, landscape architecture. So what I'm trying to do is to maybe talk a bit about that 40 years of journey and what I learned through the process. So I'm not going to show you these projects, but I'm trying to show you what I learned from some of these projects. And I want to frame it as the process of making. Because as architects, we build a lot. So we make a lot of things. So as a landscape architect, we will do landscaping. These are some of my projects in the past 30 years. A lot of vertical landscaping, a lot of very high density development, mainly for private developers. I don't do much government job except the ones that I worked with Marty 20 years ago on Bridge Driver. So these are some of the development. I'm not going to talk about this because I think these are just pretty pictures. What I want to talk about is this. So when I come back to Malaysia 35 years ago, the type of development that I'm seeing a lot is all this slash and burn, cut and fill projects. Typical sites that we will go into. We are very good at building retaining walls, screwing up the environment, repairing it, and then I get the job to come back as a landscape architect to clean it back up. So these are very typical Malaysian projects. Sometimes the developers have very good intention, they want to save a tree, but they forgot that there is a change of level in their development, so the tree is left as on top of a mound like that. And of course buildings, we do a lot of buildings, and a lot of our aspiration is to become like Prince, stay in a palace, or on a birthday icing cake. This one is typical, okay? This is Malaysia. We love things like that. Stainless steel, money, big houses. So when I came back to Malaysia in 1994, which is 31 years ago, I made myself a commitment that I wanted to do something which is, I think, a bit more Malaysian. So I was wanting to find that Malaysian language, how we can do things differently. And one of that, of course, in Malaysia, we get a lot of nature, and the commitment is how we can work with nature to build. I have tried to convince a lot of my developers' clients that we do not need to cut the tree, we do not need to cut the land to build things. But you know what's the answer to me? He says, Seksan, don't be such an idealist. It's going to be very expensive, it's not doable. The engineers will tell me the sewer lines is too difficult to lay. If you don't flatten the ground first, the drains are difficult to lay, grade, whatever. So environment like this, how can we build? In the year 2000, I was so fed up with all these excuses that we can't build that I said, okay, I'm gonna take some of these ideas myself and build it myself. Whatever they tell me that can't be done, I will do it. So I and a partner got a piece of land in Surrender. This is 25 years ago, and we were neighbors to all these Orang Asli houses. Very simple houses, small houses, and that became our inspiration, how we can build like an Orang Asli. The idea is keep it small, use local material, respect the land, and respect the trees. And we built these structures in Surrender. The walkway that we built there, we try not to touch the ground at all so that the drainage system is not disrupted. We floated the walkway above the ground. Use a lot of local materials, very simple things that we can get from the local hardware store. One of my main thing now working is I won't use anything if I cannot get it from the local hardware store. Build swimming pool, build walls. We dig the swimming pool, whatever leftover mud or clay that we have, we use to build some of the walls. If there's a tree sitting there and the pool needs to go in there, the tree stays. The pool has to negotiate around the trees. We respect the water, try to bring it as close to human habitation as possible. And we built this two glass hut in the middle of the forest without cutting the trees. The tree is about a meter or half a meter away from the forest. And then So when we first built the two small houses, we were just trying to avoid the trees. But later there was a demand for us to build a bigger building. We saved this warehouse from demolition from a foundry site in Ipoh, in Kampar, and we shifted onto site. We were still committed to the idea of keeping the trees. So we said, why don't we just build the building over the trees? Because the building is big enough to accommodate the trees. So the trees will be going through our dining table, our floors. That was the original building that was shifted to the site. We dismantled it piece by piece, and because they are actually very heavy members, and at that time there was no road into the jungle, so we could physically haul them in by hand or by a chain truck and hoist it up using hoist tie onto the trees or whatever things that we can grip onto. So this is the result of it. When I do projects like this, I don't do drawing because I think drawings make a lot of presumptions. It doesn't respect the site. So a site comes before the drawing. So a lot of the drawings are actually done on site itself, just drawing on the floor, drawing on the walls. And this is the result of it. We can accommodate a lot of users in these big warehouses. This is the Kaping Surrender, which is half an hour away from here now. Another project that I